Hi, everyone. Welcome to the EO Wonder podcast. Today, I have the wonderful Elizabeth Yang of Yang Family Law Offices and also the CEO and founder of Optimizers. Welcome to the EO podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today, Kalika. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Elizabeth, on top of being an amazing entrepreneur, is also the mayor of Monterey Park.
Yes, that's right. Many hats.
I'd love for everyone to learn about you and your story, starting off as an engineer, moving on to an entrepreneur, and now doing work in public office. Share with us.
Sure. So my background's electrical engineering, computer science. I worked at Raytheon right out of college and did that for a few years. Got to work on cool projects like the B-2 bomber radar system. And then I went to law school to learn about our legal system, because California is a sue-happy state. Everybody finds some reason to sue or whatnot. And so I thought it'd be a good idea to learn about our legal system and protect myself if I need to, protect my family and friends in the future. But after I got my license, I realized the intersection of intellectual property law and engineering. And so I changed careers and started practicing IP law. Did that for a few years, started my own law firm, ended up expanding into family law and estate planning, and started my own law firm, did entrepreneurship. And last year, actually over a year now, December 2024, got encouraged to run for the election and run for city council in Monterey Park. I've actually sat as a city commissioner in Monterey Park for over 15 years. So got a lot of experience in that arena. And people are like, you know what? You have a law degree, you have your MBA, and then city commissioner experience. You should run for and do public service. So my kids are older now. They're both teenagers, going to be in college in a couple of years. So I said, you know what? I think it's time for me to step up and give back more to the community.
When you were younger, did you ever think that you would be a mayor of a city?
Never. No, getting into politics was never in my horizon. In an Asian family, they usually want you to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, never a politician. So that was never in my horizon. It just popped into my plate.
Wow. And I know that, we've talked about how your kids, you had asked your kids, like, should I run for office? What was that experience like?
Yeah, well, actually, if you rewind 8 years or so, the community was already asking me to run about 8 years ago. And my kids were younger back then. They were probably like 8 or 9. And so they needed more of my time. I had to drive them to like different extracurricular activities, to sports, to their school stuff. So I turned down the opportunity at the time. I didn't say yes to it. But then this last time they asked me, I went home, I asked my husband about it. I asked my kids. Initially, they were all against it. They were like, Mom, you're already busy enough as it is with your businesses, with your nonprofit work. We want to see you, we don't want to share you with the city. But then once they started campaigning and then they saw all the momentum and the people that I was impacting, the city that I was helping, they're now all on board. And I think I'm inspiring them to also want to give back to the community when they grow up.
So you must have a lot of systems in place for you to be able to have this extra time to be able to be in public service. Tell us a little bit about your systems.
Yeah, 4 years ago, I was wearing all the hats in my law firm. I was overwhelmed. I was doing sales and marketing. I was doing operations, managing the entire team, even handling collection and invoices. I joined EO around that same time, and two systems really completely transformed my business. One was EOS, based on the book Traction. We implemented EOS in our company, set up different departments, got everyone having different responsibilities to remove me from the equation. So now the company's running without me and it's running better than when I was, bossing everyone around. And the other one was a book called Profit First, which talks about how a lot of entrepreneurs work day in and day out, hours and hours, more than 8 hours a day, and they're not even making a profit. So this is how to teach entrepreneurs to put the money in their pocket first before just wasting time running a business with no end in mind. So just these two processes completely changed the law firm. And now it runs on its own, it's self-sufficient. And that's why I have time to run a city.
Yeah. And EOS, for everyone who's listening, and if you may not be familiar with, it's Entrepreneur Operating System by Gino Wickman.
Yes, it is. And Traction is a must read. It's a game changer.
Yeah. What is it about that system that helped you get out of the business?
Well, there's so many aspects. For one, it teaches you how to run a meeting. They have what's called L10, level 10 meetings. And so a lot of meetings waste people's times because people are just rambling on and on. Nothing's getting done. This is like systematic. There's the issues. People talk about the issues. It translates to like a to-do list. Everyone's got their to-do list. And then the next meeting, you follow up on the to-do list. And if it hasn't been done, then it creates a new issue. And so things get accomplished. And then these meetings are done within 90 minutes. So it teaches you how to run a meeting. And then it also has like a complete chart of who does what, right? You have your visionary on the top. That's usually the CEO. Then you have your integrator. That's like the COO. They manage all the operations. Then you have all these department heads. So you assign the best person for each seat, and having the right person in the right seat makes a world of a difference. If you have the wrong person doing something that they're not good at, it could just collapse a company. So we got the right people in the right seat. You realize who you don't need, and sometimes you might have to fire some people, let some people go, but in the long term, it's going to be a better decision. And then you put the right people in the right seat, and it just works.
Yeah. And then the rocks, the 90-day rocks, the IDS, the issues discussed,
All of
solved.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rating
rocks are
the
like
movie.
the goals. So there's the quarterly goals, the weekly goals, the daily accomplishments, like everything is organized and it's all in a software. So before when we have meetings, we're like taking notes on a notepad, and then the notepad, maybe you don't even flip back and look at your notes again, but this is all electronic and organized. So we can review it. Nothing falls through the gaps.
I think when I was interviewing Gino for the podcast, he was talking about it's always about alignment, and he showed that photo of everyone rowing together because without alignment, without everyone knowing where to go, then, it becomes like this utter chaos.
Yeah, and I'm actually using what I've learned as a business owner to help run the city, because the city is essentially like a business too,
Yes.
right? You've got your departments, you've got your staff, you've got your city manager and the attorneys. So I'm actually looking at how to implement EOS in the city of Monterey Park.
Oh my gosh. And probably using Profit First too, right? By Michael Michalowicz, right? Making sure that you can also get profit from the city.
Exactly. Yeah. Having different pockets, different allocations for revenue. Yeah. Making sure you're putting profit into the city first before spending on unnecessary expenses.
Yeah, I love the metaphor that he used about the toothpaste. Do you remember that story? Like how a lot of times people just are so quick to spend money. And he said, like, take a look at if you put yourself in a budget, it's like a tub of toothpaste that you can actually really squeeze all of the toothpaste out before having to go out and spend money. So he was
Buy
really
a
all
new
about
toothpaste.
like saving money, and I'm sure that's probably what you're doing in the city as well too.
Yeah, one of the first things we did when we implemented Profit First was categorize our expenses into A, B, and C. A is the absolutely necessary expenses. B is the nice to have, but not completely necessary. And then C is the I can do without. And then we cut out all the C expenses and we're like, wow, we're very profitable. Like we have all this extra money now. We're just spending all this unnecessary stuff.
Yeah. I find that with subscriptions. I'm always signing up for subscriptions and forgetting to cancel them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes like you even forget you're subscribed to something
Yeah.
and then it's just charging monthly and we're not even
Monthly.
checking our credit card statements.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So now that you're in public service, what's it like? I know that I saw on Facebook that you were in a 7-hour meeting.
Yeah, just this past week. So there's definitely pros and cons. It's a very rewarding job because I can make an impact and help so many people on a very large scale. But it's also very challenging because we only hear from residents when they're unhappy about something, right? We usually don't hear when they're happy with what's going on. So we get a lot of negative energy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And in the 7-hour meeting right now, one of the hot topics in Monterey Park is there's a real estate developer that wants to build a data center. And AI is the hot topic nowadays, right? Everyone's using AI, or if not, starting to learn AI. Even my mom is using ChatGPT to message me. And yeah, so all ages, and it's only expanding. There's not going to be less people using it. There's only going to be more. But the hot topic is, where do we build these data centers? And these are massive. The one they're proposing is 250,000 square feet. They spent $39 million to acquire this piece of property that is specifically zoned for technology centers, which are data centers. And if people don't know what a data center is, it's essentially like a big warehouse that houses computers, servers, machines, everything that's powering our technology. They use a lot of energy. They use a lot of electricity, a lot of water or air to cool down the systems. They make some noise, like the humming of the computer sounds, maybe like the freeway noise, maybe depends on how big it is or their noise controlling mechanisms. But there's pros and cons. But in our city, in the San Gabriel Valley, there's a lot of residents who don't want it in our backyard. So they swarmed our city hall on Wednesday night at our council meeting, and it was standing room only. They filled the entire chambers. They even outflowed into the lobby. We had to have extra seating outside where they watched the meeting from a TV screen. And 100 people signed up to make public comment. So we didn't finish the meeting till 1 a.m.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Especially you just came back from Japan.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't even have time to like be jet lagged. It was just like one thing after another.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had news reporters. All the big stations were there. They had helicopters. Yeah, it's been a big topic, and it's not just our city. They're proposing data centers in Pasadena, in the city of industry. There's already a lot of data centers in downtown LA, so it's only going to continue expanding. And we do need legislation from the top to come and tell us cities, what to do and what not to do.
You're really good at, I think, receiving feedback. How do you do that?
It's not easy, especially like negative feedback. Like as a manager, as a, law firm owner, we're always learning new ways to give feedback, especially in this woke society. Like you have to use the Oreo cookie method, like say something nice first and then something constructive and then end with something nice, right? If you're just like blunt and just blurt out what's on your mind, they might leave you or, leave a negative Glassdoor review for the company. Right? There's freedom of speech. But as a council member, these residents, they don't hold back. They just let loose. And it's interesting in the political world and in public service, like all the council members are here to give back, but instead they're like so cruel to us. They can come and make public comment and give us their opinion if they oppose or support the data center.
So have you always had this, I don't know, tough
Thick
demeanor?
skin.
Yeah.
Actually, no. When I was growing up, I was super shy and insecure. I remember we had a Barnes and Nobles in our city, and I loved reading at the time. So I would go to Barnes and Nobles and read, but there was a section that had some of my favorite books, but it was near the window, and the window was right next to the street. And I was like afraid to go to that section because I was like, oh, the cars driving on the street are going to see me, and I don't want to be seen. So I didn't want to go to that section with the big windows. That's how insecure and hidden I wanted to be. I wanted to be invisible. I was antisocial. I was shy. So now to get this kind of feedback in public, I think it's the universe preparing me for bigger things, because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger and more resilient. So it's definitely making my skin thicker, and they'll say something mean, and then it'll hurt for like a split second, and then I'll just let it pass and then listen to the next person, and then so on and so forth, and then focus on the big picture at hand and don't focus on these attacks that are really unnecessary.
It sounds very stoic philosophy. You basically can't control your environment, but you can just control your response to what's happening.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I also remember what I've learned, like whatever you put energy into, that only increases. So, right. So if I like focus on one resident, why did you say that to me? That was so out of line and unnecessary. I'm putting more energy there. So I'm just going to be like, you want to say it? I let it go, just like meditation. A thought comes, it passes, and then you focus on what's important, not what's not important.
Yeah, that's one of your daily habits. I know that you've also done like 7-day silent Vipassana retreats. What other habits help you with confidence and, building a thicker skin?
So many. So meditation definitely helps. I did the Joe Dispenza retreat, progressive retreat last year. That was amazing. I also love journaling. So when I have events, I have a planner I'm old school. It's written down. So I write my things down instead of inputting into my phone. And then I check things off. And I also post a lot on social media. I actually think it's soothing for me because it's like my way to release. And it's also like my diary, because if someone's like, oh, when did you go to this restaurant, or when did you go to this country, I just go on my social media, I search it up, and there's my entire post with all my pictures, and I'm like, here you go, all the details are right here. So I post about the community events that I went to, different activities, but it's mainly positive. I don't vent on social media, like all the things that happened last Wednesday. I don't go and complain about it. So I focus on the positive. And I
Yeah.
think like focusing on the positive really brings positivity into my life.
Yeah. So you meditate? Do you work out?
I don't really work out. I'm not a gym kind of person. I did Pilates for a while. That's my goal this year, to get back into Pilates. I love dancing, salsa dancing, bachata dancing. I haven't really had time to do it in the last 6 months, but I want to continue doing it. I wish my husband would dance more, but he has two left feet. So he's taking some lessons, but we want to get more into that as well.
But you do love to travel.
Yes, traveling and trying new restaurants and learning new things. I'm the type of personality that gets bored easily. I can't do the same thing day after day, week after week. So I think politics is pretty fascinating because every week we have a new issue on our plate, and I'm learning new things with every new challenge. So
That's
it's
amazing. But what is it like, because I'm sure a lot of constituents or citizens come to you. How do you remember their names, or like how do you deal with a plethora of people?
It's hard, and I'm not the best with names, I'll admit it. I really do my best. I use the tricks, like say their name 3 times in the first 5 minutes that you've met them, like hi so and so, bye so and so, like use their names. I'll add them on social media if I really click with them so I can keep connecting with them. But I go to so many events, meet so many people. So a lot of times, out of respect, I don't address them by name because I don't want to accidentally use the wrong name and make them feel like they didn't matter. So I really do my best. But if I don't remember someone, this is a trick I use. Let's say like A and B are here, and I remember A, but I don't remember B. I'll say, oh, meet each other. This is so and so.
Mhm.
And then they'll introduce themselves, and then I remember the other person's name.
Oh, yeah, that's so
Yeah.
good. But
Yeah.
sometimes they're just like, hi.
I know. They don't introduce themselves. Then it's like, oh,
And they're
wow.
like, rats.
Yeah, but I love name tags. If I'm
Yeah.
hosting an event, I always have name tags. So
Yeah.
I encourage everyone who's hosting an event to do name tags.
Yeah. So isn't it wonderful how you came from someone who was so shy to now being the mayor of a rather large city in California?
Yeah, it's complete 180. My elementary school, middle school, high school friends don't recognize me. I was the kid who recess was my worst subject. I'd line up at the softball field just to kill time during recess, never go up to bat. When it was my turn, I just walk right to the back of the line and just spend my entire recess lining up. And then the bell would ring, we'd go in the classroom, I'd be like, okay, I got through recess. Yeah,
Wow.
no friends, had lunch in the career center with books. Books were not scary. Humans were scary. Didn't like to be around people. And now I'm talking to like so many people and strangers every day.
Yeah. Was there a catalyst for your change that you just wanted to get out of your shell?
I think it was mainly after college when I started working. So all throughout school, as long as you get good grades, you're successful. You don't need to talk to people. But once you get into the working world at Raytheon, I realized if I'm quiet, the good projects, the promotions went to my coworkers, and they weren't as smart as, like they might not be as smart as me or be as hardworking as me, but they were getting them promotions because they were being seen. And so I was like, you know what? I can't continue being quiet. I need to stand up for myself, own my voice in corporate America in order to get the promotions. So through working, I started gaining confidence.
Did you have a coach, like a communication coach?
I didn't have a communication coach, but I started taking transformation courses.
Mm.
My first one was Mastery in Transformation Training, which is based in LA. And then after that, I took Landmark. I started taking the Tony Robbins courses, and I became a transformation junkie because that really got me to get out of my shell, learn how to step out of my comfort zone and be confident, and also get out of my head into my heart and come from my heart. Because as an engineer, I'm always in my head, right? It's like
Always.
easy to be like calculating, analyzing things, and it's learning how to shut that off and just come from the heart.
Wow, that is so wonderful. So you did Landmark, you did Mastery, Tony Robbins, and
Yeah.
also Joe Dispenza. So
Joe
yeah,
Dispenza.
you have this thirst for learning, which is perfect for an EO member.
Yeah. Anytime right now, the Hoffman Institute is on my bucket list. I want to do that. If someone pushes me, I will go together. I've done like ayahuasca,
Hmm.
like just anything. I'll try it. And the meditation, Vipassana. Yeah,
Yeah.
anything. I'm like hungry to learn.
Yeah, and it's good that this openness and curiosity really serves you.
It does. Yeah. Because when you open your doors by learning, you never know what opportunities may come. Like I went to law school mainly to learn and not to be a lawyer, but then opportunities arose. And now my law background is helping so much in the city as well. Because we have our city council meetings at 6:30 p.m. twice a month. But before that, we have 1 hour of closed session. And that's where it's not open to the public because we're talking about confidential lawsuits, where we don't want to mention in public. So with my legal background, I can understand these lawsuits easily and be able to help the city from that perspective.
Yeah, so you're a perfect mayor for the city because, like you said, you have the law degree, the business degree, and you're just boots on the ground experience just running multiple businesses.
Yeah, and then this as a city commissioner too. If anyone wants to get into politics, I highly encourage that they sign up for a city commissioner job. It's a volunteer job, and there's like the planning commission, the traffic commission, the parks and recreation commission. There's so many things to learn. Every city has these commissions, so people can sign up for them in their own cities.
But it's still difficult to get in. I know a lot of people who apply for these commissioner positions and they don't get in.
Actually, it's not too difficult. You just go and reach out to your council member, give them your resume. If your heart is in it and you're qualified and you're willing to learn, even if one commission doesn't match you, there could be another commission, like maybe planning commission. They want someone with like a architectural engineering background and someone doesn't have it. They can go help on the community participation commission. That's what I started in. That one, you just organize the fun events. We organize the Hollywood Bowl event. We organize like Mahjong night, Cherry Blossom Festival. You don't need any degrees for that. Anyone can organize a fun event.
Really? Oh my gosh, I
Yeah,
had no
yeah,
idea. Like all
yeah.
my friends who applied, I mean, I know multiple people who have applied for different commissioner of roles. And what I find is it's who you know. So and so knows so and so. One person left, they don't even look at the applications and they'll slide in someone that they know.
That's life.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do a lot of talks to students from law schools and
Mhm.
colleges, and I tell them a lot of times in life, it's about who you know, not just what you know. Pretty much all my jobs were obtained through a connection.
Yes.
My Raytheon job, I got it through the Society of Women Engineers because the recruiting manager from these companies came and had dinner with the members, and I met the recruiter, and that's how I landed the internship that got me the full-time job. And then my first law job was because of my coworker at Raytheon. He introduced me to his neighbor, and they brought me in for an interview, and I got the job. So it's all about connections.
Yeah. And if you don't have any connections, what do you recommend someone do?
Even just reaching out. So like in our law firm, we have an internship program, but we don't really broadcast it, and we don't put on our website like, oh, submit for internships. But students who are proactive will find our general email and email us saying, hey, do you guys have internships? And we want to help the students. Most entrepreneurs are happy to help students, right? Because we're all wanting to give back, and they get their foot in the door. And through an internship, if they're good and they excel, they could get a job out of law school. So just reaching out, and nowadays it's so easy to reach someone. LinkedIn, you can just get introductions, exactly how many people you're far, like 1 degree of separation, 2 degrees, 3 degrees. You can meet the CEO of a company so easily through social media, like finding their email address, finding them on LinkedIn. So it's not hard to get in connection with someone.
Yeah, but I also think that you're also always so giving. I find that the people who volunteer the most or give back, they really stand out. And so that's how people become memorable.
Yeah, yeah. So the getting is in the giving, but at the same time, we have to give from an overflowing cup. That's one misconception. A lot of people give when their cup is not even half full yet, and then it just depletes them, and then they end up having like mental health issues, which is another subject I'm really passionate about. But first is give to yourself, either through learning, signing up for workshops, reading books, podcasts, whatnot. And then once you're overflowing, then give back.
Yeah. I know you wanted to talk a little bit about setting boundaries as a woman.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Setting boundaries is very important because as someone who's a giver, it's easy to get taken advantage of. And there's a lot of, not so nice people in the community that could hop on, take advantage if you're not careful. So make sure you're setting boundaries. I always start off any relationship by giving them the benefit of the doubt and fully trusting them. But once they break my trust, then that's the end of the line. No more invites to my parties, my activities. But in the beginning, I always want to help everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't start off by doubting them.
Yeah. Has it happened a lot where you had to remove certain people from your life?
It's happened many times, but not a lot in the grand scheme of things. So, like, let's say if I had 100 friends, I would say maybe one person, or maybe like even 1,000 friends, I'd have like one person out of 1,000. So it's a few, but still, you
Yeah.
got to be careful of it. Just like in a company, it takes one bad apple
Yeah.
to ruin the entire company structure and the company culture.
And plus, you probably are a magnet to the right type of people, who want to be around that type of positive energy.
I would hope so,
Yeah.
but I have attracted the wrong type of energy too. So, anything that comes, we just gotta protect ourselves.
Yeah. So now we're in 2026. What type of, as business is unfolding, especially with AI, do you see any trends that are happening, or what do you think about your law business or your optimizer VA business? How are things changing for business owners?
I think AI is making everything so simple. And as long as people know the right questions to ask AI and how to use it properly, of course, there's a lot of things we have to be careful about too. So I've used ChatGPT for a long time. Recently, I started using Grok. Grok is Elon Musk's similar platform, and it's really good with images and videos. So I'm able to create a lot of images and videos for my business marketing, but I realize someone can easily take your picture off the internet and just create like a bad video of you that's slanderous and just post it. It's so easy to do that. And some of the videos, they don't have as strict boundaries as ChatGPT. Like if you go to ChatGPT, you put in anything like, let's say, like a sexual thing. ChatGPT will be like, no, I don't go there. Grok doesn't. Grok will like create risque videos and there's not a strict boundary. So I know there's a lot of people protesting it right now, but so much is changing. Like I use AI regularly to help with research, to help with drafting things, emails. I think it's essentially malpractice if an attorney does a memo or works on a case without using ChatGPT to verify it.
So how do you think business is going to change? Because every AI is so easy to use. Is business going to get harder or easier?
I think as a business owner, there's aspects in the business that will get easier, but it's also going to be challenging because now you've got more competition, right? If everyone starts using it or someone's using it better than you, then you're competing with someone who's got more skills. So it's about keeping up with the trend and just continuing to put ourselves out there and learn as much as we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too. And because a lot of the younger people have so much more time than we do, and we have to learn these skills in order to stay ahead, or just like you said, know what's happening and know what's available.
Right, to keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think like a lot of people were saying lawyers were going to get replaced by AI, but I think we play a role, especially family lawyers. We're sort of like the therapists as well as the lawyers. People come, they want to tell us their entire story about their relationship, and I always have a box of tissues because they're crying about being cheated on or, something that happened there in the relationship. It's different when you're talking to a machine, right? They're not going to get that same feeling talking to an AI versus talking to a human being. So we're there for that compassion, empathy that I feel like maybe some machines can replace, but some people don't feel the same talking to a machine. I mean,
No.
I see some people marrying their AIs out there.
Yeah, I
Right? They
saw
fall in
that.
love and they're like, oh, we're going to get married. This is my soulmate. So,
I saw that the girl in Japan, right? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Well, what about your VA company? Because I know that I've also heard that besides law, and like, same thing with me with the design agency, they're always saying, "Oh, it's going to be obsolete." And with VAs being, your main product for your optimizers, what do you think is going to be the future of
Yeah,
Burnout?
I think very similar. There's a lot of VA companies out there that only use AI. They don't use any people. Yeah, so all the assistants are just AI.
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
they have AI answering phone calls, AI scheduling, calendaring, emails, all of that. So there's companies out there that that's all they do, only AI. And those are our competitors. But there's a lot of clients that don't want to only deal with AI,
Mm,
right? They want a human being on the other end, and
hmm
or VAs are out of the Philippines,
hmm
but there's other VA companies that are from like Latin America or Africa or wherever, India. But we're even though they're not in the US, there's still another human being on the
mm,
other end. So I think it really depends on the clientele. Some clients, like in the family law, they're like, I don't mind having an AI be my divorce lawyer. I don't
mm.
need a human being if it's cheaper. Some people are the same. I'll use an AI to answer all my business calls. I don't need another human being. But some people are like, no, I want that flesh and blood on the other end to talk to and not just a machine.
Right.
So I think AI is good because it's giving people more options
Mhm.
and they can choose what they want to use.
Yeah. So, what are you looking forward to most in 2026?
2026, I think there's a lot of changes in our city, so a lot of opportunities. So continuing to serve our constituents, continuing to grow the virtual assistant company, and also adding AI into our team, making sure all our VAs are now fluent in AI so they can use AI to help their clients. And then also my kids are both getting ready for college. So, you're a mom too. This is a very stressful time. It's so competitive now to get into colleges. My daughter just started learning how to drive, so I don't have to chauffeur them around anymore. That's been a big help. But yeah, lots of changes during this time.
Yeah. Any books that you're planning to write or?
My husband and I are almost done publishing our joint book. It's the first book we're writing together, and it's called Harmony in Partnership: How to Work Together and Not Kill Each Other or End Up in Divorce. And it really takes a lot of careful maneuvering because, if or business doesn't go well or business relationship or personal relationship could go under too. So we have to set ground rules and really, work well together.
We interviewed the author who wrote For Better or For Work, also talking about how her spouse was the owner of Stonyfield yogurt,
Uh-huh.
which was sold to Dana for like $400 million. But she said for the first 10 years, it was so difficult because they were on the brink of bankruptcy and she was not an entrepreneur herself. So it was really difficult. But what type of advice would you give to an entrepreneur, family?
Yeah, so definitely know which hats, who's wearing what hats and
Hmm
who's signed up for what roles so that you don't step on each other's toes. But it's funny because when my husband and I first agreed to start working together, we set up all these rules and then we realized there's too many chefs in the kitchen. So I took a step back and I let him start making more of the decisions in the company and start handling handling more management. And I realized, you know what? I'm like semi-retired now, right? By letting go and relaxing and letting him take over, I'm giving him more power and more confidence in himself. And I can have my time to do what I want. So it's a give and take relationship, right? If both people are pushing in that same direction, there could be conflict. But if one person pushing, other person's releasing, this person's pushing, this person's releasing, then it works well. It's like that yin and yang relationship.
Was he an entrepreneur before you met him?
He wasn't. He has 20 plus years of HR
Oh,
experience.
perfect.
Yeah. So even though he's not a lawyer, but he's had a ton of experience managing people. He's a people person, really good with people. And he's worked for big companies like City National Bank, Toys R Us, Mervyn's. So he used to manage like 1,000 people, 3,000 people. So when I invited him to join my firm, he's like, "Oh, managing 30 people? That must be a walk in the park. No problem." And then he was like,
Different.
"It's different.
When it's your own.
Yeah, and it's lawyers, right? Managing lawyers versus managing non-lawyers, complete different set of skills. So it was challenging in the beginning for him to get adjusted, but now he's loving it. He says it's the best decision he's made.
I mean, I really enjoy people who have that HR background because it's all about, like you said, having good people skills to be successful.
It is, yeah. And it's funny because when he was in HR and I was in divorce law, we'd come home and share different drama stories because he's talking about all the sexual harassment cases, supervisors crying in his office. And then I'm sharing about people crying in my office. So we could write a book on all the drama cases we've had to deal with.
Yeah. So besides having everyone have their own role, what other tips would you give to continue to have harmony in the workplace?
Well, in the workplace, but also like the personal relationship is important. So it's not just about working well. It's also not forgetting that you're married to each other. And this goes for all relationships. Having regular date nights, dating each other, not just like, "Oh, you're my wife now, you're my husband now, I don't need to date you." Right? You have to continue treating each other like during the dating phase. Like, "You're my girlfriend, my boyfriend. If I don't date you, you could easily file divorce and I could lose you." So continuing to give to that person unconditionally. And then I'm a big proponent of the 5 love languages. So figuring out your spouse's love language, making sure they know your love language so they can love you the way you want and you can love them the way they want.
Mine is acts of service and quality time. What's
Me
yours?
too. Same. Yeah.
In that order?
It used to be quality time. That was my big one. And then I took it again a few years later and it was acts of services.
Acts of service, right?
Yeah. And my husband does a great job of that because he cooks really well. So
What is his love language?
his is words of affirmation,
Oh,
which is one of
wow.
my weakest ones because I'm not very good about flattering people. The Asian
Because you don't need it.
I don't need it. And growing up in a Taiwanese family, we don't even say "I love you" to each other. We don't even hug. Like, we're just like, "Oh, eat more, eat more." Like, that's how you show your
Right.
love, right? So for me to like acknowledge him was so hard. But now we have this habit where before we go to bed every night, I say 3 things that I'm grateful for about him. Even little things like usually I'll be like, "Oh, thank you for taking care of the company today," or picking up the kids or taking out the trash or washing the dishes. But it could be like, "Thank you for taking a shower today." It could be anything. And he just says those 3 things mean so much to him. It really, really lands because that's his top love language.
Can you see his personality just sort of like soften?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. He just
Aw.
like relaxes into it. I could just see how much he enjoys it. And for me, I don't get it because if he says it back to me, I'm like, I don't need it.
Right.
Why does it mean that much to you?
Yeah.
But it's just different love languages.
Yeah, I agree. When someone gives me a compliment, it's just my job. So it's just like saying like your hair is brown, but yeah.
Yeah. And actually, it makes me uncomfortable sometimes. I'm not the best receiver of acknowledgement because growing up in America, I'm like conflicted. In the Chinese community, we're supposed to be modest. "Oh, no, no, no. I'm not like that. Like, don't flatter me." In the American culture, you're like, "Oh, yeah, thank you." You're supposed to receive. So a lot of times my automatic is like conflicted. Do I be modest about it? Do I say thank you? Like, what do I do? So I'm like, rather just don't acknowledge me.
It'll just be easier. Oh my gosh. So there are a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs that are listening. What type of advice would you give an aspiring entrepreneur?
Oh my gosh, so many. But I think number one is life is short. So whatever you're doing, whatever business is, make sure you're loving it. Make sure it's your passion. Make sure that you're not waking up in the morning dreading going to work, because once you love it, it's no longer work. Yeah, just like right now, I'm serving the city and it could be challenging. I'm getting death threats and all kind of crazy stuff, but I really love it. So I don't see it as work, and we get paid very little. It's pretty much a volunteer job. So none of us are doing it for the money.
Yeah. Wow. What about books or podcasts for people to listen to?
Books and podcasts, definitely watch your Kalika podcast. We have a mutual friend, Elizabeth Karaka. I definitely recommend listening to her podcast as well.
The Speak Up.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's right. And books, there's one book that I just recommended recently, and it's the 4-Hour Work Week, right? It just gives a whole different perspective of time and how putting in hours doesn't mean productivity. You could do the same thing in much fewer hours.
Yeah. Tim Ferriss. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for spending time. I know you've been so busy being mayor. You were also on the board of EO for many years and running multiple companies and just giving back. You're such a joy to always be with you. And you're always so generous with everything, your time. And so I'm so glad that you're able to come today.
Same with you. It's so nice to be here. I always love chatting with you, Kalika.
And if people want to get to know you or find out more about your services, how do they find you?
They can add me on Instagram. So my Monterey Park Mayor Instagram handle is Liz Yang MPK, like Monterey Park, LIZYANG MPK. Or my law office's Instagram is Yang Law Offices.
How about LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, they can search Elizabeth Yang and find me as well.
Okay, good. Well, thank you again. And do let us know when the book comes out. We will make sure to update the podcast. I can't wait to read it.
Will do. Definitely. Thank you.
Thanks, Liz.